Hi, my name is Kara, and it's another week of works in progress and finished objects. So this week I think it's been kind of productive. I'm not really sure. Like I was trying to compare the number of finished objects and works in progress I have, but basically like I think the show, I was gonna say the stole is shown. The show is stolen by the two dresses that I made this week, and so the very first dress I ever made took me about a month to make. The second dress about a week, and then the third dress was about 3 days. Very fast. So I'm getting faster at them, but I'm gonna stop myself from making any more because I just don't need that many knit dresses. And basically I made so many because I was just really curious about what they would look like with the different yarns and shapes that I was making them with. So let's get into it. Hi, also I know that I said that I would have a crochet pattern that I would actually work on, and I don't. So if you have any recommendations for crochet patterns that you really like or think are really beginner friendly, please let me know in the comments because I'm kind of lost in the entire sea of crochet patterns and I have no idea where to start because I really want to make something, but the things that I want to make are they seem complicated, but I don't really know how complicated they are. So any recommendations you have are very welcome. So first up we have the mini dress, the first one that I made this week. And I showed you guys it last week too, and it's in Wool and the Gang Take Care Mohair and Eucalyptus Green. And you can see it a little bit clearer here, but you can see the shaping that I did with this one. So the original dress, it was just like a shift dress, and then you use the ties to make it fit to your waist more if you wanted it to, or you can make it looser and have it more of like a comfy dress. But this one I really, really liked how it turned out. I had never knit this yarn with needles so small. Like I typically use like 9 to 10 millimeter needles, but this one I used 5.5 millimeter needles. And I was actually like surprised at how like dense the fabric came out. Like I'm not scared to wear this dress out. Like it's not see-through at all. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I think it's more of like a fall dress, even though it is a mini dress, just because the fluffiness of the yarn makes it so that it's more of a fall dress than a summer dress because it's not as flowy. Like I know that all of these dresses are like made out of like wool, so you wouldn't think that they're summery, but I would actually consider the first one to be definitely more summer because of the color, and I think that the worsted weight yarn that I use for that one is pretty light and it does flow, but these other two are much more fall. And so I know I just said that I wasn't going to make any more dresses, or I don't know if I told you this, but I've definitely told my testers, I was like, I'm not going to make any more dresses. Like I don't need more dresses because I've made 3 in rapid succession. But I think I would definitely make this one in the fall again, but I'm not really sure what color I would make it in. Like, would I make this dress when I go to New York? Yeah, I absolutely would, but I haven't decided what color to make it in yet. Because I do really like this color, but I think I like brighter colors more. And I think for fall, I would probably do like maybe an orange if I can find a nice orange mohair yarn. The next one I have for you is a work in progress, and it's this lovely lace sweater that I'm working on. It's a Wool and the Gang not take care mohair, feeling good yarn, held double in ivory white to give it a bulky weight, and it's so soft. I really love holding feeling good yarn double because feeling good yarn is super soft, but it's not as thick as I would like it to be. So when you hold it double, perfect. I can make it like a bulky weight yarn. And I was a little nervous that the stitch wouldn't show up that well on this yarn because it is a little bit fuzzier, but I think it gives it like a lovely, like kind of subtle look. And I'm really excited to finish the sweater and actually try it on because I think like it'll just look better when you can see like maybe my skin or my shirt underneath the sweater when it's actually worn, because when like I just hold it up, it's a little bit harder. Anyways, so this sweater actually started out with a different lace stitch, and I was really excited about this lace stitch, and I found it in one of my books, and I was like, cool, definitely gonna make a sweater with this one. No need to make a little gauge swatch, just go. Which was a mistake because I couldn't figure out the last stitch or the last row of the stitch pattern, and so I had to unravel everything. And I put in a lifeline, and I basically just like undid everything. But it was already difficult because it's 2 strands held together, so as I was winding it, it was just keeping track of 2 strands of yarn at the same time. And so that took me like an hour last like Sunday or Saturday morning or something. So I got really frustrated. That's why I didn't talk about it like last week, because I was annoyed with myself. But I'm really liking how this one's turning out, and I really want to finish it. And I'm hoping that it's going to be more of like an oversized boxy lace sweater so that it's kind of nice for that like transition from summer to fall. because I'm already knitting for the fall, because there's only so many like teeny tiny little tops that I can make this summer. So I'm kind of focusing more on fall now. Or I'm not. I don't know. I want to make sweaters and I don't want to make as many tops right now. So we're going with sweaters. Next up, I have a V-neck top, and it's unnamed, and I just finished blocking it. And amazingly, this is the first time that I had ever blocked the Melted Baby Suri yarn, and it turned out really well. Like, it's a bit softer. Like, the Melted Baby Suri is already pretty soft, but now that I've blocked it, like, it's way softer, and the stitches are, like, nice and flat. And I just blocked it because I made it a little bit short for myself, and I just wanted to see what it would be like to block it. I haven't actually... I consider this a finished object, but I technically haven't chosen what type of like closures I want to make with it. So we just have stitch markers holding it together right now. I promise I won't always be like that. All the ends are woven in. But I haven't decided. It's most likely just going to be like little ties, because that's kind of my default. Unless I find like fun buttons in my stash, but I honestly have no idea what type of buttons I have in my stash. Anyways, it's going to be part of my summer drop part 3. It's just like a super chill V-neck top, and it's in like the same category collection as like my Walk the Line, Tied Up Right Now, Heat Waves. Is that all 3 of them? I feel like there's more. Anyways, it's like a series of long sleeve or short sleeve tops that I've made that are all made in like Melted Baby Suri yarn, and I've just really love making them, and they're all knit on 6mm needles. So another one to add to that collection. Don't know what it's called, or don't know what it's going to be called. Probably something to do with the song, just to kind of keep up with the theme. But yeah, I'm excited to try the song because I literally just picked it up from blocking, and I just like touched it this morning and I was like, is it dry? And it is, I think. It seems dry enough. Next, I have another whip for you, and it's another unnamed top-down sweater. I don't know. I'm really excited about this because I just like thought about it while I was at the gym, and I wanted something that was kind of similar to my eye for an eyelet sweater, but like a little bit different. So I came up with this, and so it is similar to the eye for an eyelet sweater, but the texture is a little bit different because there's no like purl ridges, and there's actually like a twist in these stitches. But I'm really liking how it's coming out, and I actually watched Kill Bill with my cousin for most of it. Kill Bill Volume 1 and a little bit of Volume 2, because then I went to sleep. But I just have one sleeve left, and honestly, I started this sweater yesterday, and it's almost done because I'm so excited about it. And it's in Cascade Yarns 128 Superwash in apple green, I think that's the color. And they gifted it to me because they wanted me to try out this yarn, and I actually really like it. It's really soft. I would say that it's a little bit thinner than the bulky weight yarns that I like to work with, but I'm kind of coming to realize that maybe bulky weight is like not what I think it is. Like, I think of bulky weight as like a 1-to-1, so like 100 grams per 100 meters, but I've actually found quite a few bulky weight yarns that are like 100 grams per 120 meters, which you wouldn't think is that big of a difference, but that's like a 20% increase, so it does make it quite a bit thinner. And so I already started like a second one just to kind of see what it would be like with other yarns, and I think I'm gonna hold like a strand of DK weight yarn with 4 strands of mohair, so it's gonna be really fuzzy. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I'm really excited to try it. But first I have to finish this one. So I already have plans for the second one, but I gotta finish this one first. So I'm really close, and once I finish this one, I'm actually gonna block it because it does curl up at the bottom, and I just haven't really felt like doing ribbing for the bottom of a lot of my sweaters recently, and so that means that I have to block a lot more, and I only have like a few mats. Like, I don't have that much space, so I don't know how people have been doing this their entire knitting career, because like I just have been like fighting for space, and then like some pieces take longer to dry, and it's hard to like mentally coordinate that type of thing because I'm just not used to it. Okay, next I have the dress, and I think I talked about wanting to make it last week, and then I finished my other dress, and then I finally let myself knit this one, and then I finished it because I was so excited about it. But it is in Noro Kureyon in the color 40, I think, and I really, really like how it turned out. I just think that the stripes are so fun. And I was watching or rewatching What We Do in the Shadows, the show, just like in preparation for season 4 to come out. And so this has very fond memories attached to it. And I kind of realized that I forgot to add in the straps to kind of tie the dress to make it fit to your waist better, but I don't think that this dress needs it. Like, I haven't tried it on after blocking because I just picked it up from my blocking mats because the bottom was curling, of course. So, but if I recall from when I finished it, like, I don't think that I made it way more form-fitting, or I made it more fitting than the original dress, so I don't think that it actually needs the straps. But only me trying it on will tell you, and I haven't tried it on yet, so I'll try it on for this video, and then I'll let you know if I need to add in straps or not. But I'm happy with how it turned out. It is wool, and this one feels like wool. So it's a lot heavier, so it is a bit more of a autumn dress for sure, rather than a summer dress. But I'm happy with how this turned out because the Noro yarn, I blocked it, and I absolutely had to block it, not only because it curled at the edges, but also because the Noro yarn isn't the softest in the world, I think, and blocking it does really help. The vest that I made with it, for some reason, like, it feels like different quality of wool. Like, the original Noro yarn that I was working with was a lot scratchier, and I made a Valerie vest with that one, so just like a nice v-neck vest. So fortunately I could wear like a t-shirt underneath it, even after blocking, because it wasn't as soft. But this batch of Noro yarns was a lot softer, and I'm not really sure why, because it's the same yarn, but maybe it's just like manufactured at a different time. I don't know. But definitely really, really love the vibrant stripes in this yarn. And I have like 2 skeins of it left, because this one took 5 skeins. And I was like pleasantly surprised at how little it took, because this is a midi dress on me. And I do tend to wear an extra small, but like 5 skeins for a full like midi dress is pretty good. And it's like really fun with the Noro yarn because like you're always curious like what's the next stripe gonna be, or what's the next color, and like trying to figure out how to like switch skeins between them. Like I don't do the thing where you're supposed to do with like hand-dyed yarn, because this is striping yarn where you're supposed to knit like 2 rows and then switch to the other skein and then knit another 2 rows and then switch. With the Noro yarn, I just like knit straight through. So trying to figure out like what would be a kind of a clean transition from one skein to another was kind of tricky, because like what you get on the outside of the skein is not necessarily what you get forever. And like I would like kind of peek in the middle of the skeins to like see if I should pull from the center string or like pull from the outside to try to make it a cleaner transition. Anyways, I'm rambling, but fun yarn. Next, I have a Valerie sweater for you, or the v-neck sweater. And I showed this to you guys a while ago, and I was really excited, and I knitted it a bunch for a while, and then I kind of lost momentum for it. But I picked it up recently, and I'm almost done with the body. So I'm almost done with the back, and I just need to do a little bit of shaping, and then I will seam the shoulders together and then do the neckline ribbing. And I just wanted to tell you this, because if I tell you about this sweater, I'll finish it. And I have to get it done by Friday because the pattern release is Friday, and I wanted to make a bunch of like tutorials for it. So I have to finish the sweater before Friday, film the tutorial, edit it, and then post it in addition to pattern editing. But I can do it. I've just been procrastinating it a bunch on my summer drop part 2 because like I know that I have to do all those steps. But I need to do it because otherwise the night before I edit or I release the patterns will be very, very hard, and I don't want to do that. So I'm showing this sweater because I want to tell you that I'm going to work on it and finish it soon, so that my day before pattern release isn't like a mad scramble. Okay, this one, it's definitely still wet. Like I picked it up from the blocking mats this morning, and I definitely am going to go put it back after this. But it is my Unnamed Corn Sweater. I keep on calling it corn because the lace stitch kind of reminds me of corn for some reason. Like stalks of corn. I don't know why. And you can't, it's not as easy to see it in the darker yarn, I think. But I'll show you guys the purple version, because the purple version I tried to show you last week, but then it was actually blocking. But now it's dry, so I can show you that one. But this will be part of my summer drop part 3. And it's in Wandering Flock bulky weight yarn. And I think it's in dark blue, navy blue. And honestly, I like the yarn. I like the way that it feels, especially after blocking. Like it's super soft. But I don't think that I would use this yarn again, just this specific color, because it's kind of like, it's darker than my normal yarns that I like to use, but it's also not as vibrant. And so like normally like if I were to knit with a yarn like this, I would want it to be like a cobalt color, like kind of more similar to this one because it's a little bit like more saturated and vibrant. So I guess you can just see that difference here. But I'm excited to try this one on once it's actually dry. I'll try it on really quickly and hopefully it won't stretch out too much, but it's a medium. And the other one that I made was an extra small. But I'm just like amazed at how far the yarn goes. Like this one took 4.5 skeins and it is the medium. And then the extra small was actually less than 4 skeins. So excited for this pattern to drop, and I want to make more, but I might curb myself. I'll stop myself from making another one just because I need to knit other things, and I just have so many ideas that I like don't want to spend so much time or yarn on like patterns that I've already like worked out, already knit seconds, because again, like I like to knit a sample, write a pattern, and then knit a second one to follow my own pattern to make sure that there's no like typos or like it makes sense and it's recreatable. But sometimes I do want to make a third of everything, or a third or fourths, and I just can't do that right now because I just have so many ideas in my head right now. So I want to make a third, but I don't think I can. Now I have a loosely followed Bennie sweater that I'm making with Trendsetter Yarns spessotille in saffron. Ooh, look at it on camera. It's a really cool thick and thin yarn. It's cotton, and this is probably the most fun cotton that I've ever worked with, just because the texture is so fun. And I'm not mad about starting this one because I started it because I wanted to do a knit and chat, and I just wanted to see what the yarn looked like when knit in the round, because I've knit with it with garter stitch and I really liked it, but I thought like, oh, maybe it'll be cool with stockinette stitch as well. I was right. I don't know how it'll look on, but I'm liking how it's turning out. The ribbing was a little bit strange because you can't even really see it because the yarn's just, the texture is so crazy. But I'm not mad at myself for starting this one because I was curious, and it's actually been on my list for a few months that I wanted to knit a top-down sweater with this yarn. But it's another whip. But I think I'm gonna finish this one pretty quickly because I'm almost done with the body. I think I haven't tried it on, but obviously I'll make it like cropped and like wide sleeves, I think. So that won't take me too long, and I'm just like, it's really fun to just go through the skein because it does the thing where like with cotton yarns, I think, where just kind of the length falls off the skein, so there's like a bunch of like, and then like a little puddle, and you have to knit with that puddle up, otherwise it'll get tangled. So then I'm motivated to be like, oh, more yarn fell off the skein, gotta knit more. So then I'm very motivated to finish this sweater. And I actually just like knit it to the end of a skein, and then I put it aside because I was like, I need to work on other things because I have too many other like obligated projects that I need to finish by a certain deadline, and this one's just for fun for myself, so I had to move on. But excited. Okay, so this next project is another whip, and kind of lost motivation on this one as well. I don't know why, but it's a kind of recreation of this orange like tie top that I have, and I started on the sleeves and I wanted to make them like puffy, and I think I'm getting there, but then I kind of was just like, too much work, let's move on. And so I really want to finish this one because I think it'll be really cute because I like the fit of it, and it's in, I don't know what the yarn is, I'll look it up, but I'm holding like a strand of worsted weight, I think, yarn, and some Cashmere Veronica from Qing Fibre and like flaminglet. And this one I think is called Apocalyptic Sunset, but I can't remember the yarn name, but I'll put it in the description. And so I just like worked on it really hard for one day, and then I was like, meh, and I just left it aside. So something about this week has just been like, start a lot of projects, don't finish a lot, like just don't finish any of the projects that you've started this week, just start another one. Which is bad because I am running out of space and needles, and I just like, I want to finish projects because you can't just have a bunch of whips everywhere because it's just like, it's kind of wasteful. And if you don't, for me, if I don't finish them like soon after I cast on, like there's a high chance that it'll just sit in a pile for like 2 months before I like look at it again. And I don't want to do that because that pile of like whips that I have for like months is already big enough. So I need to finish these projects that I'm like staring at right now. Anyways, this is fun, and I just need to do this sleeve. And it's really cute. I just need to add elastic at the back because I made it too big because the first time I ever make something, if I'm just freestyling it, chances are I'll fudge the gauge. Don't know why, I just will. And so it'll be too big for me. Yeah. And this is part of the reason why I always make a second, because I always like make the first of the pattern like too big. And so I need to make a second just to kind of perfect it and just like refine the pattern itself. But it'll get done. I just need to add elastic at the back because the back is too big. But if I add elastic at the back, it'll actually be cute because it'll give it that like cinched puppy look, I think. Yeah, I need to finish it. And that's all I have for you today. It's a lot of project zoomies. A lot of projects were started, not a lot finished. I think I kind of burnt myself out by just working really hard on 2 dresses and finishing them really quickly. And then I was like, now you can do whatever you want because you were working on that dress for like 5 days in a row. So let's just start a bunch of other projects that you can work on and you don't have to worry about finishing them. So I think it's a little bit of burnout, not from knitting itself, but just like burning out on just like knitting one project for so long, because I don't really like to do that. I have like different projects that I have for like in my room versus upstairs versus like kind of near the kitchen. So a lot of project zoomies. But hopefully next week will be a lot more finished objects and you'll see a lot of the projects that I showed you this week as whips as finished objects next week, because I gotta get them done. And I don't want them to sit in a pile and die. But anyways, hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Happy knitting and see ya.